GED Practice Test 2026 General Educational Development, Full Course Scientific Experiments. Question 1. Which step of the scientific method involves making an educated guess? Conclusion. Data analysis. Hypothesis. Observation. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation that can be tested. Question 2. In a double-blind study, neither the participants nor the researchers know who is in the control group. The researchers cannot see the data. The participants are blindfolded. The experiment is done in the dark. This prevents bias from both the subjects and the scientists. Question 3. What is the purpose of an observation in science? To prove a theory right away. To gather information using the 5 senses or tools. To write a final report. To ignore unusual data. Observations provide the initial information that leads to questions and experiments. Question 4. A scientist is testing a new fertilizer. Plot A gets the fertilizer, and plot B gets only water. What is plot B? The independent variable. The control group. The experimental group. The hypothesis. The control group provides the baseline comparison. Question 5. What makes a scientific experiment valid? It is performed only once. It can be repeated by others with the same results. It uses many different variables at the same time. The results match the scientist's personal opinion. Reliability and repeatability are essential for validity. Question 6. Which of the following is a quantitative observation? The flour is red. The liquid smells like vinegar. The sample weighs 5.2 grams. The surface feels rough. Quantitative observations involve numbers and measurements. Question 7. What should a scientist do if their data does not support their hypothesis? Change the data. Discard the experiment and never speak of it. Refine the hypothesis and conduct more testing. Stop being a scientist. Falsified hypotheses lead to new questions and further discovery. Question 8. A theory in science is a wild guess, a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world, a law that has never been tested, a simple observation. Theories are broad explanations supported by a large body of evidence. Question 9. Why is it important to change only one variable at a time in an experiment? To save time. To know exactly which variable caused the observed effect. To make the data easier to graph. Because the lab equipment is limited. Changing multiple variables makes it impossible to isolate the cause. Question 10. A placebo is a dangerous chemical, an inactive substance used in a control group, a type of high-speed computer, a scientific law. Placebos, like sugar pills, are used to test the actual effectiveness of a drug versus the expectancy effect. Question 11. What is bias in a scientific experiment? A type of measuring tool. A preference that prevents impartial consideration of data. A mathematical average. The speed of a reaction. Bias can lead a researcher to interpret data in a way that supports their preconceived ideas. Question 12. Which of the following is the best example of a testable question? Do cats like me? Does the temperature of a battery affect how long it lasts? Is science fun? Why is the sky blue? This question can be answered through a controlled experiment with measurable variables. Question 13. Data that is qualitative describes weights and measures qualities or characteristics, like color or texture, the price of the experiment, the number of trials. Qualitative data is descriptive and non-numerical. Question 14. The procedure section of a lab report should be written so that no one else can understand it. Only a genius can follow it. Another person could repeat the experiment exactly. It includes the scientist's feelings. Clear procedures allow for replication and verification. Question 15. What is sample size? The size of the box the tools came in. The number of subjects or trials in an experiment. The height of the scientist. The volume of the liquid used. Larger sample sizes generally produce more reliable data. Question 16. An inference is a direct measurement. A logical interpretation based on prior knowledge and observations. A proven fact. The first step of the scientific method. Inferences are conclusions drawn from evidence. Question 17. Which tool would be most appropriate for measuring the volume of a liquid? A ruler. A graduated cylinder. A thermometer. A scale. Graduated cylinders are designed for precise liquid volume measurement. Question 18. If two scientists get different results from the same experiment, they should fight each other. Review their procedures to find sources of error. Both quit. Pick the result they like better. Comparing methods helps identify why results varied, example equipment differences, contamination. Question 19. The conclusion of an experiment should always relate back to the cost of the lab hypothesis. Whether outside scientist's childhood. The conclusion states whether the data supported or rejected the hypothesis. Question 20. Why is peer review important in science? To make sure the scientist is popular. To ensure quality, accuracy, and honesty in published research. To slow down new discoveries. To make papers longer. Peer review allows other experts to check for errors and bias.